Hey guys, welcome to another video about world pre-generation in Voxy. It's been a while since I put the last video out, and now Voxy WorldGen and Voxy are available for release 26.2, so I figured it was time to make a new video. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Modrinth app, guys. We are going to spin ourselves up a new instance here. Let's do a custom setup. We're going to call this Voxy WorldGen 26.2. So know what version we're in. Fabric loader is perfect. Game version is 26.2 and loader version is stable. That's all wonderful. All right, so it's going to spin up our new instance, and sure enough, we have no content, so let's browse some content. The first thing we are going to want is Voxy, so we'll type that in and install it, and right below it is Voxy WorldGen. We're going to install that as well. Next up, C2ME. We're going to download, or we're going to install the C2ME OpenCL acceleration module, because that will also download the base C2ME mod as well. So now you can see they're both installed. We're going to need Iris for Iris shaders, so let's install that. I'd like to install mod menu so that we can interact with our mods inside of the Minecraft interface. Let's grab lithium. We'll install that for some performance increases. Maybe also ferrite core, same reason. It'll optimize our memory usage a little bit better than the base game does. And let's grab a shader or two. So I think in this case, we're going to go with Solas Shaders. I've been enjoying it recently. You could certainly also use BSL. You could use complementary reimagine. Bliss shaders work and photon shaders work as well. There may be others, but those are just the ones that I have used in the past. But for this video, we're just going to install Solas Shaders because that's what I have been using. Last up, I think we should install Mini HUD just so we don't have to have the F3 screen open if we're going to look at frames per second and things like that. So I think we are ready to go. Let's hit play and see if Minecraft loads without any errors this time around.
Press enter to enable the narrator.
And it looks like we're good. Let me make some quick changes, get us full screen, turn down the volume, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, and we are in the Minecraft splash screen. You can see we're on Minecraft 26.2. Let's check our options real quick, just make sure everything's enabled, and then we'll create a new world. Well, let's go to video settings first. Render distance, I'm going to bump that down to about 12. Simulation distance is fine. I lock in my max frame rate to about 120 frames per second. I just like it because it's a number that's evenly divisible by 60. So when I edit my recordings, it just makes everything just a little bit easier. On the side here, we're going to go down to Voxy and just make sure that's enabled. Sure enough, it is. Voxy rendering is enabled, and the render distance is 512 chunks, which is what I want to be at, the default. So that's perfect. Let's go to our shader packs. We are going to turn on Solas Shaders in this case. We're going to hit apply and done. And now we are going to go to the mod menu. Let's head down to Voxy WorldGen. I just want to make sure it's enabled. I think it is by default, and it is. The only thing I'm going to change is change this guy to 512. I want to render out 512 chunks as we begin playing our world. Save and quit. Done. And now we're going to open a new, we're going to begin a new single player world. Let's call this world good old. We're going to do like and sub. Let's do survival, but peaceful. How about that? We're going to leave the world blank for the seed. I don't really care. It can be random. One note is we're not using tectonic this time around. I think I showed tectonic off enough in the last video. So if you want that amplified world generation, go for it. But this video, we're going to be sticking to just vanilla world gen. So let's hit create world. We'll get right in there. All right, and sure enough, we start in our peaceful world here. You can see things are still rendering in the distance, or I should say things are still pre-generating in the distance as we look around here. Let me go into settings real quick. I'm going to add our frames per second to the mini HUD display in the upper left there. Very good. Okay, so we have our frames per second up. And now, so one of the reasons you'll notice that my frames per second are only around 60s, 65-ish. If I hit F3, you'll see over on the right-hand side, right-hand bottom section says status running. It has a completed section, a skip section, a remaining section, active, a rate, and the fact that Voxy is enabled. This little section is Voxy WorldGen doing its business. Not that kind of business, but getting down to business. This is what it does. It is going to pre-generate chunks in lower quality form, LODs, level of detail, which will slowly fill in our world in a 512 chunk radius from where we are. And as we move, that 512 chunk radius will move with us. So if I move one chunk this way, now Voxy WorldGen is going to pre-generate one extra chunk in this direction. Same thing if I move in this direction or this direction. So as I move throughout the world, it will constantly be pre-generating one more chunk every time I move from chunk to chunk in whatever direction I'm moving in. And this is all happening 512 chunks away from where my character is. That means that I should really never see like the end of my world, which is pretty dope. I used to use Chunky for this function because I do sometimes like to pre-generate my world entirely before I actually play it. And in that case, I can pre-generate with Chunky, and even in a creative world, and then load that world data into my survival world on day one. But now with Voxy WorldGen, you can just start playing at the cost of performance. If this wasn't pre-generating, my frames per second would more likely be closer to 120, which is, what my ideal frames per second is, what I have it set at. So just be aware of that. So we've hooked up our Elytra so we can take a look at this world. It's amazing. And these chunks are going to be loading for a while. So let's take a look at our F3 screen, and back in the Voxy WorldGen section at the bottom right, you'll see we're only generating about 100 chunks per second. We've only finished about 27,000, and there are still almost 800,000 to go. This is going to take a while, and it's going to be at a detriment to your performance while it's pre-generating. That said, you most likely will never notice it. We can see these areas pre-generating because we're so high up in the sky and we're moving quickly with Elytra. But if you were down in these forests, you would never have any clue that the world was still pre-generating around you, and that's the point. You can start a world, get right into it without any delay. If you would rather have the entire world pre-generated before you begin, that's when you would look at using Chunky, or you could just sort of hole up in an area in this world, let it pre-generate around you, and then start playing, but that gets a little bit dicey, especially in survival. So that's all I got today for y'all. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comments on YouTube. Like and subscribe if you are willing to do so. And let me know if there's anything that I can make a video of that's going to help you in the future. Right now, I'm sort of working on this combination Let's Play kind of Minecraft podcast thing. I'm going to try to get an episode of that out pretty soon. But other than that, I don't have any plans. So if there's something I can do, something you're interested in, I would love to take a shot at it. Y'all be well, take care, and I'll see you soon.